And next up on Tuned into NoCo, we got the president of Northern Colorado United for Youth, Matthew Brunk, with us. First off, Matt, thank you so much for joining me today.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ashlee.
Yeah, definitely. To begin, do you mind telling our listeners what NoCo Unify is all about?
We're a grant fundraiser for nonprofit organizations in Northern Colorado that are kid-focused. Typically, we're asked for funds that are impact grants or smaller grants that help with either construction costs. This year with Center for Family Outreach, they're hiring another therapist to help for suicide awareness.
Gotcha.
CASA's doing a big renovation, and so we've chose them as one of our impacts to help them with their cause as well. And then Youth for Christ, they have a desperate need for some vans to help get kids to and from their locations so that they can have more of an impact within the community. Weld County Food Bank, a couple years ago, we sponsored a food truck for them.
Oh, cool.
So Boys and Girls Club, we've done a gym. Like over the 15 years, we've had some pretty good impacts of helping the kids in Northern Colorado specifically.
Definitely. And you guys are going to be putting on your 14th annual Suitcase party, which is coming up August 19th. What should people know about this event?
It is a great time. It is just one party that I think everyone that has attended or knows about it wants to be there and to partake. We were sad to not have it for 2 years, and we've got some great comebacks with the Spasmatics as our band. They are a riot. They do such a great job entertaining the crowd. Food, we've got a great lineup of our vendors from around the community that are going to be there to help let everyone eat. The bar will have plenty of sponsorship opportunities of spirits. And you bring a suitcase, you have a chance to win a trip. This year we're sending people on a private plane to Napa, spend the weekend. So if you win the drawing, you get on a plane that night, you fly out to Napa, you have a great time out in the wine country, and then you come home on Monday.
Wow. Well, that sounds like a blast. So to enter for this trip, you have to bring a suitcase? Is that so?
Bring your suitcase.
You're bringing suitcases. So you bring your suitcase there, and then how does that work?
So we have raffle tickets, and then you can buy as many as you want. We do the drawing towards the end of the evening, and then we do the selection process of whether or not you want to get on the plane or you get the chance to get on the plane. And then we auction off a couple extra seats as well.
Awesome. And this is happening at the Discovery Air at NoCo Regional Airport.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And so how do people register, get tickets to this event? Where should they go?
So they go to suitcaseparty.com. You can register for tickets on there. We are accepting any silent auction items as well if you would like to. We usually carry about 120 to 150 items.
Cool.
So we're always looking for the community outreach in that aspect and willing to do a little trade if you'd like for a certain value of auction item versus some tickets as well.
Awesome. Now, is there a certain amount you guys hope to raise at this event?
Our goal would be about 150 to 180,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's a great event. With that mark, it puts us at almost 400,000 net raised for the year, which also helps us succeed in hitting our 5 million mark in 15 years of giving out to the community.
So if someone can't attend for whatever reason, but they would still like to donate, where should they go?
You can do a donation tab on our website at NoCoUnify.org.
Perfect. So now let's talk a little bit more about NoCo Unify. How have you seen your organization directly impact the disadvantaged kids of Northern Colorado?
So one of our fun tasks that I actually put our committee on this year was a road to 5 million and what we've done over the past. So some of those things that we found, we've done a food truck for Weld County Food Bank. In which that truck is able to run around, and it's literally like a mobile shopping center. And kids are able to get groceries for their family and to get the food supplies. And the impact numbers unaccountable.
Yeah.
So Boys and Girls Club, we donated a gym floor for them for Larimer County.
Wow.
So you can't quite measure the number of kids that it's impacted, it's in the hundreds of thousands of what our organization has done over the years, which
incredible.
Is fantastic.
Yeah, seriously.
And then like Center for Family Outreach, we've done this for them in the past. 3 years ago, they came to us for a request for a therapist and their need for it because they couldn't keep up with the demand. And within 1 month, they had already talked about the multiple kids that they'd helped save with the one therapist.
Wow.
So 3 years later, they came to us again and said, hey, we're in dire need to add more. Can you help us? And there's no questions asked. So we say absolutely. Our charity review committee goes through 40 to 50 different applications each year of who's looking for what, and some range from 100,000 down to just 5,000 or even 1,000, like coats for kids. They're like, we just need to go buy some jackets. Okay, well, how much?
Yeah.
How many do you need? And we allocate the budget of what we think we can raise in the year to those organizations. Typically, we're writing anywhere from 9 to 15 checks.
Wow. Now, the Suitcase party, the money you raise from there, is it going to go to a certain organization or, like you said, just whoever needs it?
Yeah, so it all pools together at the end of the year, and we take those funds raised, and we've already selected our committees or our charities for the year of who we're going to give to. So the three major will be Center for Family Outreach, CASA, and then Youth for Christ. And then the rest from there, there's a list of, I think, 7 or 8 that we have in mind. Okay. Our goal as a board or as a membership in a whole is that we didn't quite hit the demand or the need in 2020, given COVID and not being able to do fundraising. 2021 was a little light in the uncertainty of what our events could truly do or what we were capable of having fun with.
Right.
So we're hoping that some of those organizations that we had already committed to, especially in 2020, that we gave them some money, but it wasn't the full amounts, then we might be able to come back and say, hey, we shortchanged you, unfortunately, and not our plan to do so, but we want to make up the difference of what you didn't get.
That's amazing.
So
that really shows the type of people you guys are.
It's a group of guys. No one is paid on our staff. No one is working truly just as a Unify member or under their payroll or anything. There isn't anyone. So we all donate our time and our efforts and our headaches and our hair loss for my sake. And it's just, it's our give back to the community of what makes us feel good. I've got 2 kids. A lot of our members have kids. And so we know in certain areas that we are very blessed because of the organizations that are here and to support them for any cause that we possibly can.
For sure. And you talked about, obviously, 2020, you couldn't really do anything. But 2021, how did the Suitcase party go in 2021?
So we didn't have it.
Oh, you didn't have it in 2021 either.
So
Gotcha.
2020 was the creation of the Kids Golf Classic.
Gotcha.
And that was us sitting around going, guys, we've committed $140,000 because we had it light, just we weren't sure of how things were progressing. We were on the cusp of actually shutting down Suitcase Party.
Really? Well, I'm glad that you guys didn't.
So are we. The biggest hassle was always finding a hangar. And there was all the uncertainty of where are we going to have it? What are we going to do? We moved it 1 year to the Budweiser Event Center. It was a great venue. It just wasn't the same vibe. You're having a Suitcase party. You got to have it at a hangar.
Right. Yeah.
So thank you a ton to Martin for approaching us and saying, I've got a hangar. I've got a place for you guys to have the Suitcase party. You're going to have the Suitcase party.
That's so great.
So when in 2020, our fundraising was a golf tournament. And we put it together in 3 weeks, knocked it out of the park.
Really?
Raised $100,000.
Wow.
And we all sat there and said, what the heck is this? And that was our venue our fundraising for 2021. We couldn't do Derby again. It was a lot of unknowns and uncertainties. Right. How are you going to do the spatial awareness?
Yeah.
And even though it's outside, the weather turned to garbage that day. So thank goodness we didn't do it.
Good.
But the guys got creative with doing a Derby box. And so we sold these box kits of a little bourbon, a cigar, a bow tie, a rose, a mimosa, or a champagne bottle.
Yeah.
And it gave you a chance to enjoy the Derby or derby style, but from home, or a party if you were doing that.
Oh, cool.
So we had that, and then we had the golf classic again, and they both were great events. We raised some money, not the phenomenal amount that we have for this year, but
you kept it going, which is...
We didn't back down. We battled through it. And, a lot of organizations, when we were handing them checks, were crying because we still actually gave them money in a time of need.
Seriously.
So that was nice to be able to sit there and say, hey, we're going to support you and write you some money.
Definitely. For sure. So you guys heard this. NoCo Unify is putting on their 14th annual Suitcase Party August 19th. To snag your tickets, you can head to suitcaseparty.com. Go there. It should be a great time. There's food. You have a chance to win a weekend trip to Napa, which sounds incredible. So I want to go to Napa. That sounds awesome.
Who doesn't?
But now let's switch gears here just a little bit. Let's talk about you. So how did you get involved with NoCo Unify? How did you start it?
A long time ago.
Yeah.
I'm not sure anymore how many years I've been in this. A couple buddies of mine they joined it the year before I did. I got to attend the Derby party over in when it was at the island at Water Valley, and loved the cause, loved the group of guys and what they're all about.
Yeah.
And so my buddies approached me and said, hey, we'd love for you to be a part of it. So I immediately interviewed and was lucky enough to be one of, I think they had 10 or 12 guys that they interviewed through that process, and they took on 4.
Okay.
And so I joined, I think it's been 10 or 11 years now. And just kind of slowly grew through the rankings of the process and procedures in order to continue to advance through, and it's your level of desire. We don't tell everybody that they have to be on the board. We don't tell everybody that they have to be a president at some point. Our focus is time, talent, and treasure, and how you can bring that to the group. And so we have guys that strictly are the talent, or they're strictly the treasure. They can find and go fundraise. More and more, our focus is that you can at least do 2 of the 3 so that it helps the group and the organization. Because again, it's all donated time. We do the setups. We have outside subs that help with it, but a lot of the coordination and the logistics and the actual physical needs, it's our guys and our committee and our group. So we ask that our team is there.
Yeah.
And I fell in love with it. I've always just been passionate to give back to the community. I was very fortunate through my time of growing up to have great support amongst this community. So I'd love to give it back to the kids so that they can have it as well. And I had an aspiration to close out my tenure. I age out after this year. So I wanted to go out with a bang. And it was teed up pretty nice for me in that sense, because we have all 3 events. We're raising one of our most historical years of fundraising, and it'll be fun to bring it to a close, but sad at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sure that they're going to miss you. Absolutely.
Some of them will.
Now, if someone listening would like to volunteer and get involved with NoCo Unify, do they just go to the website?
Yeah. So you can find an application on there. We used to do a big interview process where we'd take a pool of applicants and twice a year and go through it. Anymore today, we just kind of do it case by case of who's interested in it.
Okay, great. So you guys heard that. If you would like to volunteer, go to NoCoUnify.com. Again, they are putting on their 14th annual Suitcase Party August 19th from 6 to 11 p.m. So you can head to suitcaseparty.com to get more information on that. Matt, again, thank you so much for joining me. Is there anything else you want our listeners to know?
If you love great auction items, we've got a heck of a lineup. Was just working on it earlier before I came over here, but our live auction includes a African safari.
Wow.
So you got 5 days, 6 nights. Meals are included. If you want it to be a safari style, you can. If you want it to be a hunt, you can.
Well, that sounds like fun. That's an adventure.
Pretty sweet package. We've got a Pappy Van Winkle private tasting in Vegas. You can auction to win the Napa trip if you want for the extra seats that we'll have available. Cool. And then we're working on finalizing, hopefully, a Alaska deal right on the Kenai River for either a fishing or hunting experience as well.
So cool.
So there's some great stuff.
Yeah, definitely. So if you're listening, head to NoCo Regional Airport August 19th for NoCo Unify Suitcase Party. Again, Matt, thank you so much. It was great having you.
Yeah, Ashlee, thank you. I appreciate it.